In 1972, she went to America. But there were many false gurus at that time. She publicly denounced them by name. She also spoke out against materialism. But at that time, there were not many people open for her great message.
Okay, so my first guest, let us welcome Shrimataji. Okay, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So, Shrimataji. So, how many Rolls Royces do you own?
What a funny question. Well, the answer is none.
None? Surely you must have at least one.
No, I don't. I have no need of such things.
Right, come on, yoga is the fastest growth industry in the United States right now. Surely your company, your movement, must be making substantial profits, yeah?
Sahaja Yoga is not a business. It's a gift from the divine power. Did your mother present you with a bill after carrying you in her womb for 9 months?
No, she didn't.
Does the Mother Earth charge us for bearing fruits every year? Sahaja means born with. It is your birthright. How can we charge you for that?
You mean Sahaja Yoga is free?
Of course.
Thank you, Shri.
Thank you.
Coming on the show. Yeah, okay. Okay, well, my next guest, he does have a Rolls Royce. In fact, he owns 22 of them.
How could they ask Shrimataji such stupid questions?
Don't forget what I said. Gaur Kali Yuga. This was the ignorance Shrimataji had to face. But, as we all know, a mother never gives up on her children. And in 1974, when Sir C.P. was elected Secretary General of the IMO, Shrimataji moved to London. This was another major turning point. It was the beginning of Sahaja Yoga in the West.
Do you have some stories from these earlier days, Grandfather?
Better than that. Just wait a second. Now let me see. Oh, where did I put it? Maybe,
Grandfather, are you all right?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Go down and check.
Just, maybe this one. No. Yes. No, not this one. Maybe this one. Yes. Here it is. All right. Let me just put it in the video recorder. And, So, who wants to see Uncle Gregoire talk about the early days?
I do.
And how he wrote the Advent?
We do.
All right. Let me just figure out how this thing works. It's been a while since I used the video recorder. I'm just looking for the remote control. The remote control. Where did I put the remote control?
In your hand.
In my hand? Oh yes. There it is. Thank you, Puja. All right, so let's see. Play.
And there was
Now,
this...
stop. It's a little too far. I have to rewind it a little. Yeah. Rewind. Stop. Play.
I walked through the trees and kissed every one of them.
Stop. It's just a little too far. I have to rewind it a little further back. Rewind. Oh, all right. That must be it. Let's see. Here we go and play.
So, I'm back from America. And I liked it in America. In America, everything is big. The ice cube, the cars, The people, some of them a bit too much. You know, I'm coming from a small country, and some of the people living in my country are fairly small. They are maniac for cleanliness. The neighbor of my brother was cutting the grass in his garden with a nail scissor, you see. So, you know, going to America, I feel I could breathe. However, I discovered that there are problems also in America, because the dream comes true, but in a sort of twisted way. The seekers could seek. Yes, there was freedom, but they got so messed up that it was easy to feel compassion for them, because they were spectacularly messed up. If a German is messed up, it's boring. But if an American is messed up, you know, it's spectacular. So I went to California. We hitchhiked New Orleans, across the desert, arrived in San Francisco. There was this Indian chap, quite bright. And we took some of my marijuana. I called her my Mexican sister. She was very good to me. And I gave him some. So we talked about this lady in London. He wanted to give me my self-realization. I say, who are you? You know? I mean, then he told me, well, you know, it's not just a saint. She was Sita. She was Radha. She was Mary. Now, when he told me that, you know, normally everybody would think this is completely crazy. But this chap was very bright. And I knew that a saint could not work it out. We were in too deep. Do you say in English S-H-I-T? Yeah. Too deep of that, you know. And it was hitting the fan all over. So I decided to go and check, but I went a bit in the desert first. And that was nice, because I have to tell you that my friend went to London and he said, I met this sort of messed up chap, but he's a seeker and his name is such and such. And mother said, well, send him to me. At that time, I was sitting on the rim of the Grand Canyon. And it was beautiful. And I desired, you know, like a kid. Kid can desire anything. That's the privilege of childhood. So I desired a rainbow over the Grand Canyon. And in 5 minutes, I had my rainbow. Wham! Wow. And I spanning from one side to another. And, you know, I got up and I feel really completely connected. There was love in the grass, love in the stones, and I walked back to my car kissing every tree on the way. I jumped in a car, hitchhiked to Salt Lake City, took a plane, went to London, stayed with a friend of mine who turned out to be gay, officer of the lifeguard Queens, nobody's perfect. So from there, I called Shrimataji. And her voice was already quite something else. So I took one of those little cute blue and yellow train. I don't know whether they still have them. This was in 1975. And I reached the house of Shrimataji. Now, I could talk a long time about this, but I won't. Because, grandfather, the only foe that we shall not vanquish is time, and time is running. So I will just say a few things about meeting Shrimataji. She showed me chapters of a book that she had written, which was about the creation of the cosmos, which was about the creation of the deities, about the evolution. It was completely amazing. And this book still is not to be seen. And Mother is not publishing it. At that time I said, Mother, this is fantastic, but can I write just something to introduce it, because, you know, it's way above, you know, all of us. So she said, all right, write a chapter. And so it is that I went back to Kathmandu, where I got my first job, and I started writing, sending her the chapter. She was sending me comments. Then I went to London. She corrected the manuscript. But if you ask me how it was to write the Advent, I have to tell you a story. The story is like this. We are in Germany in the Middle Age. And there is a big festival of the Virgin Mary in the great church in the middle of the Burg. And all the duke and counts and barons and the rich citizens go in the church and make beautiful offer to this sacred statue of the Virgin, which is on a pillar in the church. And on the market before the church, there is this juggler. He's a sort of poor kid who he juggles with oranges. And so everybody's in the church and the organ is playing and so on. And he also wants to offer something, but of course, he has nothing, he's very poor. So he sneaks in at the back of the church when everybody is looking at the altar, and at the back he sort of throws his oranges. Because that's the only thing he has. And of course, when they turn and they see him, they say, "What, this is blasphemy. The guy jungle with oranges in a church." So they kick him out and they beat him. But when they go back to the church, the statue of the Virgin, there was a tear on her cheek. Now, writing the Advent was different, because this is Sahaj time. So in my case, the statue came down from the pedestal and taught me how to throw the oranges and how to throw the words and where they might fall. And the intention would be that they would fall in your hearts, so that you would become yogis. And so, grandfather, the time is gone now and I have to go.